Hey guys, welcome to another video of Sense Saga. My name is Deep, and in this video we will be talking about Ababel's Revelation Collection. Okay, there are like total 5 perfumes in this collection, and we are gonna talk about each of them, describe the notes, the performance, the longevity, overall, if you want to go for any of these perfumes, which one you should go for. And unlike my previous videos, in this one I am going to rate all the 5 perfumes based on my preference on a scale of 1 to 5, which one I rate the most, which one I rate the least, and why do I do that, okay? So this video is going to be a bit more in-depth. If you have the time, I want you to take your time, watch this video. Although I know I am late to join the party again, there is already a few reviews about Ababel's Revelation Collection already, but I will try my best to do the justice as much as possible from my end. And full disclosure, the perfume was sent by the brand to me, but this is not a sponsored video or a paid promotion. This is basically them asking me to review the set as is, the way I feel. If there is any constructive criticism regarding the perfumes, any area where they can improve, or anything that I liked and disliked, I have the full liberty to talk about it, and I'm gonna do so in this video, okay? So first things first, let's talk about the presentation. Honestly, if in one word, I have to sum up the entire experience of Ababel's perfumes, because this is not the first time I'm reviewing an Ababel perfume. I have purchased the Discovered set. I have finally purchased 2 perfumes that I absolutely loved from them, which I'm going to make a review very soon. One is Dawn, one is Ababel's Monte Rosa. Those are the 2 perfumes that I find really good for my taste, and somewhere down the line I'm going to make a standalone review about the perfumes as well. But in short, if I have to say about the packaging of Ababel through and through, it will be finesse. The quality, the attention to detail, everything is just spot on when it comes to the packaging of Ababel, okay? And this box is no exception. This is a hard cardboard box with all the details written at the back, some nifty little graphics at the front. Overall, the perfume unboxing feels very premium, coming at a price point of 999, which is 1 rupee less than 1000 rupees for the 5 perfumes in 10 milliliter quantities. So overall, the quantity that you get from this gift set or box is 50 ml, which is the standard pricing for all the box in itself, okay? Like if you get an individual bottle that you're purchasing from them, still the pricing is same, which is 999 for 50 ml. Now inside the box, you get something like this. This is a card which has got the description of the perfumes and Revelation Collection in the front, and the notes about the perfumes are written at the back over here, okay? I'll hold it like this. Now the 5 perfumes that I'm going to talk about, I'm going to rank them in like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, the 5th number out of the lot is going to be Sargasso. Why do I keep it at number 5? Because this is kind of their rendition or their inspiration to Orto Parisi Megamare, okay? And I am actually not a big fan of Megamare or Megamare, the way you call it. The reason I don't like the perfume is because it's too much heavy on the seaweed, ambroxan, salty, sea salt kind of like a vibe. And unfortunately, that is something that I personally don't like in a perfume. If you're somebody who likes marine aquatic perfume with a lot of cologne and a lot of ambroxan in it, then I think this perfume is going to be very likable to you. Because this, I think I have 4 or 5 renditions of Orto Parisi's Megamare, and I feel that Sargasso is a perfume done right when it comes to being inspired by that perfume. The overall smell of this perfume is very clean, something that I feel is going to be, you know, good for the summers, in a very hot summery day. If you're into that kind of perfume, you're gonna absolutely love this. Why I don't particularly like this perfume is because this is said a lot about this particular DNA, that it smells like somebody's armpit. The reason it is said is because it has got a very salty, sea salt like note, which to some people, when it gets mixed with sweat, kind of is a bit off-putting for some people. I'm not saying everybody. Those who like the DNA, okay? But that is the reason. But if you are into that Orto Parisi Megamare route, I think for 999 50 ml, this is a really good option. One caveat I found with this perfume, unlike any other Ababel perfume that I have seen, this is a little bit synthetic and a bit harsh at the opening. and that settles within the first like 30 seconds or so. I'm nitpicking because the rest of them are absolutely awesome when it comes to the blend. This has got some little bit of harshness, and that is the reason I'm kind of highlighting it. Although this is by far a really good blend for the pricing that it is coming at. Only from this Ababel house I'm pinpointing this, okay? Like Ababel is a good brand, and that is the reason I had to, find that nitty-gritty line where I can, deduct to 1 point or so. Now, in terms of the overall projection, this perfume is really strong. Okay, I applied it during my office days, like few days I have been testing these perfumes out. This was projecting like crazy for the first 1 hour. I was indoors in an AC environment. At that setup, this perfume lasted for around 6 to 7 hours when I've applied it on my clothes. I can't say about skin because I don't usually test the perfumes on skin, but when I've applied it on my clothes, it stayed with me for around 6 to 7 hours easily. And it was recognizable. The projection was around 1 to 1.5 hours, with the first 1 hour being very strong, the next 30 minutes kind of moderate. But this is a really performing perfume in my opinion. And if somebody is looking for that Orto Parisi Megamare DNA, Sargasso from the house of Ababel is a really good option, coming at number 5. This is number 5 ranked perfume in this collection according to my rating. Okay, now let's move on to number 4, which is going to be this one, West Coast. Why do I keep it at number 4? This is basically, before I go ahead and talk about the perfume, this is basically their inspiration from Louis Vuitton's Pacific Chill. Now, I don't own Pacific Chill at the moment, but I have smelled it in Sephora and some other malls, and a few of my friends have that perfume. Honestly, I'm not a big fan of Pacific Chill, I'm really sorry, but I won't say this is a 1-to-1 clone or a 100% clone of Pacific Chill. Ababel has, introduced some of its nuanced differences over here, and what I personally felt was the fruity elements over here in the West Coast is a bit more. It's still fresh, it still gives that lemony vibe. I mean, there's another perfume over here which is Illusion, which I will come to in like very soon, but West Coast opens up very similar to Illusion, which is their rendition of Imagination. But over here in Pacific Chill, initially it starts very citrusy but then moves on to being fruity. Now this DNA is something which is loved by a lot of people, but somehow I don't know why. Somehow for me, the fruitiness when mixed with the citruses kind of creates a very off-putting note for me. I don't know why, but it does for me. And that is the reason I will not, I'm keeping it at number 4 for my own personal reasons, okay? Now, one reason could be because of the note of blackcurrant that it has in the top note, along with the sweet lime or sweet orange that it has. I don't know, that combination is kind of off-putting to me, but if you're into it, it's good for you. For me, it's not. Also, when West Coast comes into the dry down, it has got that note of fig, apricot, something that smells like a dry fruit along with some musk. And somehow for me, that entire combination kind of is an anomaly for me. I am not used to that kind of a note. Again, I am just letting you know my preference so that in case you resonate with my style of perfumes, you will be able to know what I'm telling you, okay? So what really happens over here is somehow the citruses transitions into a note of dried apricots, figs, and then it has got some musk in it, and weirdly, it has got note of carrot seeds. I don't know. I have never smelled carrot seeds, so I have no idea what is going to be the smell of that. My nose can't, distinguish the smell of carrot seed. In case you have, great. But that abnormality in the transition is something that I personally don't like. But if you are into the DNA of Pacific Chill, you will find this very pleasant. What I felt with Pacific Chill was it's kind of a bit more chilled out. It has got the citruses and the fruitiness a bit more well balanced than this one. I felt over here the fruitiness is kind of a bit amped up, and that note of fig, apricot, and the dry fruit note, it's kind of over there in a bit amped up quantity, but it's good for people who enjoy this kind of fragrances. Now, this perfume also performs like crazy, okay? This perfume almost projected for around an hour with good projection. I won't say it's a beast mode projecting perfume. None of the perfumes from Ababel are beast mode. Let me clear that out first and foremost. But it did project well. So and so that people will be able to notice it when they come in close vicinity to you. And this perfume also lasted around 6 to 7 hours when I've applied it on my clothes in an AC environment during the summer to monsoon transition that is happening over here in my city as of now. So if it's a very hot summery day, I personally will not use it in a hot summery day because I don't like the DNA, but for somebody who likes to use it in a hot summery screeching weather as well, I feel that this will still do away with like 5 to 6 hours easily when applied on the clothes. Okay, that is what I personally feel. So at number 4, this is West Coast coming from the house of Ababel, which is their rendition to Pacific Chill by Louis Vuitton. Now at number 3, I would like to keep this one. This is Dusk Till Dawn. Okay, and I saw a few reviews where the perfume reviewers have mentioned this to be right between EDP and Parfum of Azzaro's Most Wanted. Well, my rendition is a bit different. Okay, what I personally feel is this perfume is more into the territory of Emporio Armani, Stronger With You Intensely. If you see the notes of Azzaro's Most Wanted lineup, the note that is dominant when it comes to the spices in terms of the Most Wanted DNA is cardamom. Over here, in case of Dusk Till Dawn, similar to Stronger With You Intensely, here the note is cinnamon. There is a basic difference between cardamom and cinnamon, although they are kind of khara masala, kind of like that, all incorporated while cooking in our Indian kitchen. But this is more into cinnamon and that is more into cardamom. Apart from that, this also has a little bit of sewed leather at the base, very similar to Stronger With You Intensely. But is it like a head-to-head, one-to-one clone of Stronger With You Intensely? I would say no. It's around 80-85% over there. But then again, the components are kind of utilized in a different ratio. That is the reason this is in the same ballpark, but a tad bit different. Okay, when you initially spray it, okay, my god, you're gonna love the perfume. Okay, this is gourmandish. There is a toffee-like vibe over here. There is cinnamon over here. At the top, there is some floral notes of juniper. There is violet leaves. In the base, there is a little bit of soot, which is like a leathery note. And then there is vanilla. There is amber. And did I miss on something? There is pink peppercorn they're mentioning, which I think is adding a bit of that spicy touch at the top. And if you see the notes, they're exact replica of Stronger With You Intensely, but it's not a head-to-head clone. It's kind of in the similar ballpark. Imagine a cinnamon-based toffee-like note with a little bit of spices in it. Predominantly, there is cinnamon, and then add a bit of floral notes into the mix. And that is how the smell of this is. Also, you can mistake it for the Most Wanted EDP Intense and in between, like that Parfum direct, Parfum like route. I do understand because both the perfumes are very similar to each other. Like Armani's answer to Azzaro's Most Wanted is Stronger With You Intensely. So that is the reason both the perfumes, because they smell almost similar, this also feels in the same ballpark. But what I personally feel, this is a more airy and a bit more uplifting, fresh, little less dense version of Stronger With You Intensely from the house of Ababel, which is Dusk Till Dawn. Okay. Now, in terms of the performance, you will feel that this is a gourmand perfume, so this is going to last better than the other two I talked about, but surprisingly, that was not the case with me. Weirdly, when I tested it out, for me, Orto Parisi's clone, which was Sargasso, kind of outperformed Dusk Till Dawn for me in terms of the performance. This lasted for around 6 to 7 hours, but the projection was for around an hour, and it's a bit more lighter, a bit more airy version, so that is the reason that might have happened due to the components being a bit more airy. Also, the name is very apt for this one. This is basically an evening-based perfume. That is the reason Dusk Till Dawn. And I think for a date night or any special occasion or in a cozy, personal encounter with somebody, you are in a cozy Netflix and chill kind of a setup, I think that Dusk Till Dawn from the house of Ababel can be a really good option. And all the perfumes are priced at $999 for 50 ml individually. But I am talking about the entire box today. So at number 3, this is Dusk Till Dawn from Ababel. Now, number 2, is going to be, I know a lot of people will feel that number 2 is going to be LA vibes, but that is not the case. Number 2 for me is Illusion. Okay, this is straight up a clone of something that I own already. This is Louis Vuitton's Imagination on my left, and this is Ababel's Illusion on my right. Is it a head-to-head clone? Is it a one-to-one clone? I would say no. This is not a one-to-one clone. But should you pay a lot of money and get this one? My answer would be no. That is going to be a waste of money. For somebody who's into the budget category or budget territory, you don't have a lot of money to spend. If that is the case, I don't think you should even go for something like this. Rather get this one and you will be more than happy. This is around that 80-85% DNA of Imagination by Louis Vuitton, and it's done really well. Okay, this is fresh, this is citrusy, this is very uplifting. Okay, if you have ever used, I mean, I'm not saying it smells like that, but it's kind of like Theorem in the opening. You get that bright citruses. Theorem is a bit more sweeter due to the added note of grapefruit. Over here, it's kind of a very herbal, green, minty kind of like, because it has got the note of citron in it. Citron is kind of like a prehistoric version of lemon. It's a big, it's a bit bigger. It's a bit more dense. It's a bit more bitter, and it's a bit more limey. Okay. Over here, in the opening, it has got a bit of cedar, which is giving that woody vibe to the perfume. And my God, the dry down of this perfume is top notch. They have somehow incorporated the note of tea, like black tea. Somehow in the dry down, they have done this black tea note that is present in Louis Vuitton's Imagination very, very, very well. I mean, it has got that black tea, it has got that ambroxan in the mid note. There is neroli or orange flower, orange blossom, and it has got some Nigerian ginger, and they do mention frankincense, but I feel that the quantity is in very nuanced quantity over here. And overall, this perfume seems very, very, very nicely done. Although I feel that Imagination is a bit more airy, a bit more citrusy, and a bit more refreshing than this one. But somehow over here, I feel that the note of tea or black tea is done so nicely with the ambroxan. It is something that just, makes my world go gaga. I mean, it's a really good perfume. And Ababel, you have done a really good job with Illusion, trust me. Now, the only caveat or the only complaint that you might have is with the performance, because when I tested, this was kind of a bit, lesser than the other 3 that I talked about so far. Over here, the performance or the projection of this one was a bit more lesser. I mean, it was moderate for the first 1 hour, but overall longevity of this perfume was around 6 to 6.5 hours when applied on the clothes. And trust me, it was noticeable. It was not like it's a skin scent that I have to come very close to smell it. It was not like that, but it was not like projecting like huge. Somebody coming in close encounter will be able to smell the perfume. And I feel because I was in a controlled AC environment, that is the reason it lasted for 6 to 6.5 hours easily. Had it been that I am outdoors in a very, very hot summery day, the performance would have been a little bit lesser. But for $9.99, you're getting somewhere like 80 to 85% close to this perfume. In my opinion, is a really good job done by Ababel. So hats off to Ababel for this one. Now, in terms of blend quality, this is too good. I didn't find any alcoholic blast or cheap smell coming out of these perfumes that I talked about over here. And all in all, that is my number 2 option from this gift set, which is Illusion, coming from the house of Ababel. Now, the first one or the number 1 for me is this one. This is LA Vibe, a perfume that is inspired by City of Stars by Louis Vuitton. Now, there is a shimmer kind of a thing over here, which is kind of replicating the City of Stars or the Starry Nights, because this is named as LA Vibe, which is Los Angeles Vibe. And if you have ever, played the game GTA Vice City, there is some slides or images where there's afternoon sunset, the person is driving a car, and if you have played the game, you will know what I'm talking about, like the image. This kind of creates that same vibe for me, okay? And trust me, the shimmer is something that makes it stand apart from a lot of perfumes out there. This was done very thoughtfully. I mean, according to me, this is what sets Ababel apart from a lot of houses, Indian houses basically, because they are trying to do something a bit different. not something that the others are doing, even in terms of packaging, presentation and everything. Now, this, according to me, is a unisex fragrance, like something, but some people say that it leans more towards the feminine side, but for me, I am not complaining and I somehow like the perfume. This is something that I can actually wear and I can go to the office, although your better half or your partner or your sister, whoever that may be in your house, if you have a female, they can also use this perfume without any issue. And the best thing that I found about this perfume, according to me, is the smell structure and the smell quality. It's done so nicely. I mean, again, I won't say this is a 1:1 clone of City of Stars, but this also is in the 80 to 85% ballpark, according to me. But now I have smelled City of Stars like way back, so I can't really tell you what is the difference between the two, pinpoint between the two, but I can say that it's not 100% there, okay? Now, what did I like about the perfume? Let me talk about it, okay? And how does this perfume smell? I also need to tell you about this, right? So the first thing, when you spray the perfume, it opens up with a note of oranges, okay? And along with that, there is a note of ginger coming at the top note, okay? So it's a bit of citrusy, it is a bit of gingery, and in the mid note, it has got tiara flower, okay? Tiara flower, I don't know, it's a floral note. Don't curse me, don't hate me. I have never smelled tiara flower. All I know is there is a nuanced floral note that is coming along with the citruses, the oranges and the ginger. And this top note just stays around 30 minutes to 40 minutes, and after this 40 minutes, it goes into the dry down, and that is where I fell in love with the perfume, okay? The moment I sprayed the perfume, for the initial 40 minutes, I was like, okay, it's a good smell. There's no problem. Typical Louis Vuitton-like smell. But the moment it started going into the dry down, that is where I became a fan of this perfume, okay? Because in this perfume, they have added a very nuanced, well-balanced note of sandalwood. And trust me, sandalwood, when done nicely in a perfume, just creates some magic. Like this. It's so good. And this perfume turns a bit powdery when it starts going into the dry down. But along with that powdery note, when that sandalwood note starts kicking in, that is where the symphony happens, okay? The moment I smelled the perfume in the dry down, I was like, love at first sniff. I can't say that love at first sniff, but maybe love at the 100th sniff or something, because the dry down was like crazy good, okay, for this perfume. Now, along with that sandalwood, there is a bit of musk, and they say that they have used ambergris in this. Ambergris is a very expensive compound. I don't know how much ambergris has been used, or if it is ambergris, because as an alternative, people use ambroxan. It might happen that they have, I don't know, ambergris coming at $9.99 for 50 ml. But they have mentioned it, so I'm just letting you know. All in all, this perfume becomes a bit sandalwoody, a bit powdery, with a bit of muskiness, and that floral character remains through and through with the perfume. So if anybody is into floral notes done rightly for both men as well as women, you can go for LA vibes. But this perfume is just too good. I mean, this is number one for me. It could vary from person to person. And the performance on this one was also really good. 6 to 7 hours, it easily stayed on my clothes, and the projection for the first 1 hour was moderate, but it was something that was noticeable. Okay, I will say that in terms of the performance or projection, basically, this kind of beats Illusion. But when it comes to the projection, this kind of is in between Illusion. It's better than Illusion, but it's not better than West Coast, which is Pacific Chill's rendition, or Sargasso, which is Orto Parisi Megamare's rendition. It's kind of there in same ballpark as Dusk Till Dawn, in my opinion, when it comes to the projection. So that's number one for me, LA vibes coming from Ababel. So that is kind of it for this video. I feel that Ababel did a really good job, and I actually don't have any complaints, honestly. If you see the individual bottles, I recently, I bought the Dawn and Monte Rosa from them, and the bottling that they have done, like the magnetic cap, the overall presentation, it's top notch. In some videos in the future, I'm gonna talk about them. But Ababel, you're doing a really good job. I know people are going to bash me by saying that this is a paid or sponsored review, but unfortunately it's not. I just wanted to highlight what is if some Indian brand is doing great, I do need to highlight it out, and that is the reason I did that. So I will not stretch this video further. This is my review of Revelation Collection by Ababel. Feel free to check out the set before buying any individual perfume from them, because what really happens is if you don't try the perfume out and you buy them in a blind buy basis, chances are you might like it, chances are your money is going to get wasted. So before you go ahead and purchase a full bottle, try this gift set out, give all this 5 a chance. And in case you want me to rate all the 10 perfumes that I have from Ababel, like the Discovered set and the Revelation set all together, like 1 to 10, and rank them in my preferential order, do let me know. I will create a video like that for you very soon. And with that, this is Deep signing off. I'll see you on the next one very soon. Bye bye.